Third grade, week 17, structure and function of animals. Teachers, this week we're going to use some stuffed mounts. Look at that teak for third grade that says, explore how structure and functions of animals allow them to survive in a particular environment. One thing that I'd also like to emphasize is in K1 and 2, we've been going over living and non-living. And I just want to make sure that our third graders know the difference in a group of non-living objects and living objects, and what those three criteria for placing them in those classification rings would be. First, that they eat and use energy from the radiant energy from the sun. Plants go through photosynthesis, and they get their food through their green leaves. And animals have to seek their food. The second one is that they must grow. And the third one is they must reproduce or have offspring so that their species or their like-kind population survives. And the kids need to know that. And I would do that before I even started talking about structure and function of animals, because I'm not sure that in the earlier grades we quite understand that. So I'm leaving my objects for you to make sure and question them. What is a rock? What does the bear do that the rock can't do? Just because water moves, does that make it living? Even though all living things need water, is water itself living? And the answer is no. And then I put a pot of soil there, and they can kind of see, okay, I get living, non-living. Make sure they understand that. I'm going to use my bear, and I'm going to use a long pole to point out some of the structures of him that he needs for survival. And of course, one of the things that he has is that incredibly strong jaw. He has a huge, large nose, so he has a good sense of smell. They can see not very well. You'll see the size of his eyes compared to the size of his whole body. They're quite small, so his sight's not nearly as good as his hearing and his sense of smell. Then he has these large crushing teeth and jaws that could actually eat the fox if he wanted to. And I kind of placed them there so that you could see that that would be a food for that bear. Then, of course, we have these strong claws that a lot of animals don't have. But he digs holes in the side of the hills to hibernate in. So he has to be able to dig. He also digs up grub worms. And we know that bears can walk on their back feet. They don't normally do that. That's not a normal method of travel, but they can do it in order to fight or defend their territory. And like I told the kids, one thing is funny, you never see a bear running around outside without his coat on like kids do. He keeps up with his coat. It's a thick fur coat because he usually lives where it's cold. Although we do have the small black bear that lives in Texas. But his hair is not nearly as thick. This bear was killed in Colorado, so he has a very, very thick fur. So those are some things on that bear we could use. Let's turn to the fox here. The fox, you'll see from his long snout and his large nose at the end, that apparently his best sense is his sense of smell. And even let the kids compare the size of the bear's eye to the fox's eye, and you'll see that fox has pretty large eyes for his little bitty head. But he can see really, really good. And of course, they're going to pick up on the fact that his ears point up. And so he's going to have exceptional hearing. He's got that long, lean body for being very, very quick. And of course, he's got his thick coat to keep warm. He doesn't dig for grubs or bury up in a den, so he doesn't have those long claws like that bear does. So just point these things out. Or, better yet, don't you point them out. Let the kids pick up on it. Question them. Ask them, what do you see different between the bear and the fox? One thing that you could point out is if it's a predator, its eyes are going to face forward on its head. If it's prey, the eyes are located on the side of the head, like a rabbit, a horse, a grazing animal like a cow. Now, let's move to the snake. They need to understand that not all animals have fur. But here's a rattlesnake right here. And all these mounts were given to me. We didn't kill these animals. And we've got that big timber rattler, and I put him in that camouflage for a reason, because his scales and the way his scales are arranged kind of camouflage him. That's one of his protections. The other one is that he can strike very quickly, and he's kind of in a coiled position as if he would strike. And he's quite poisonous and deadly. So his venom could kill the bear. He could kill the fox. He could kill a rabbit. He could kill a human. But, you know, that's not eating humans or striking humans is not his normal way of getting food. He'd much prefer to eat a rabbit, since he can engulf it slowly over a few days. So again, please point out living and non-living, and then let the kids question them. What do you see on that snake that would make him be a good predator? What do you see on the bear that would make him a good predator? Since I put 3 predators out here for them to look at. And your teak state, explore how structures and functions of animals allow them to survive in a particular environment. So we have 3 different species of predators. How do they survive? What's on their body that allows them to survive? Structure would be the claws, function, digging. Structure, large jaws with teeth, function for grinding meat and bone. The fox, very large ears for very good hearing. Large eyes, snout, a nose on the end of a long snout, keen sense of smell. Very fast running. Not a fast running snake, but he has rattles that rattle, warn people that you're getting too close. Of course, the rattlers on this one are broken off. But just let the kids come up with, okay, what's their structure? They need to understand the word structure. In the case of the rattlesnake, it would be his rattles, his quick striking neck, and the fact that he can coil himself up and leap several feet with his body. But please ask the kids questions. Don't just tell them. Because when they have to ask and answer their own questions, they'll be better learners. Thank you.